be there with you.
What is the purpose of this meeting and who will be in attendance?
Talking about how African countries can stop relying to a large extent
Political films, issue, or with a political subtext.
Don't miss the live special report between Capital Television and Dashwell Television at 9:30 p.m.
In Capital News tonight, President Dr. John Magufuli commends Government Chemist Laboratories Authority. Chadema advocate request for video used as evidence in incitement case against them. And in sports, Simba Sports Club fans are to cheer their team when they play UD Thonga in the second leg of CAF Champions. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Khadija Zimba. First, the national news. President Dr. John Magufuli has commended Government Chemist Laboratories Authority on its performance and in overseeing the law on chemical management and DNA. President Magufuli made the tribute in Dar es Salaam when he toured the Chief Chemist's office to witness operations including DNA sampling of victims of the Morogoro oil tanker fire accident, which had occurred on 10th August this year.
Kwenye moto ulipotokea ambao umechukua maisha ya wenzetu.
The fire, which claimed 98 lives, 46 casualties were taken to Muhimbili, of which one was later on admitted, bringing the number to 47. Only 17 are still alive and nearly all of them are in intensive care unit and 3 are critical. However, when we instructed the chief chemist and other experts, "You went to Morogoro, I know you did not sleep," because the first report I was informed that they could carry out an analysis on 20 bodies, and I instructed them to stay up taking samples. When I called at 6 a.m., I was informed that samples had been taken for all the 69 bodies. I commend you. In addition, you took samples from relatives who came forward. They were laid to rest and their graves were numbered. If you had not done so, then relatives would never have been able to identify the graves of their departed, although those who died at the hospital were identified by relatives and laid to rest. I commend you once again. This is not an easy job to be done by Tanzania and by Tanzanians.
Eneo jingine ni uchunguzi wa hivi karibuni.
This body worked day and night on the accident, which occurred on the 10th in Morogoro, involving a lorry carrying petroleum, which exploded. Out of the 69 bodies of which samples were taken, 50 bodies have been identified. Would like to urge people to come forward, especially for those whose relatives are still missing.
Mheshimiwa Rais, mamlaka ya maabara mkemia mkuu wa serikali.
Honorable President, during the 4 years of your presidency, we commend your leadership. This institution has been promoted after it was approved by the House of Parliament. We've seen an increase in staff from 110 in 2015 to 220 in 2019, which is equivalent to 166% increase. We commend you.
Na Bunge la Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania.
The defendants in the incitement case facing 9 leaders of opposition Chadema party, who include the national chairman Freeman Mbowe, have requested the court to hand over the video submitted by the government as evidence against them so that they can use it to request their witness. The Mbowe and his co-accused made their request in Kisutu Resident Magistrate Court in front of Principal Magistrate Thomas Simba, who agreed to have the video viewed again in a conference room of the court. The defendant's advocate Peter Kibatala questioned the witness who provided the video as evidence, Corporal Charles, by asking him if it was his first time to give evidence and why he had left a meeting to close the Chadema campaign for Kinondoni constituency, to which he responded that he had left a meeting after seeing supporters and Chadema leaders leaving and heading towards the office of the director of Kinondoni Municipal to demand for the written oath given by their election agents. Moving on, President of Zanzibar and Chairman of the Revolutionary Council, Dr. Ali Mohammed Shein, has said that the government is looking into possibility of having a law which will oversee issues concerning the elderly. Dr. Shein made the statement when opening a general meeting of the Association of the Elderly in Retired in Zanzibar, Jumaza.
Asante sheni na kupa shukurani, mapenzi majani popote huota hana ubaguzi.
Kuendeleza kumiliki mali zao kwa vijana wakorofi ndani ya familia zao.
Poverty as a result of denying the elderly their rights, feeding them while taking care of the medical needs. This is an infringement of their rights. The elderly have a right to shelter and protection.
Na mambo mengine kwenye familia na mazingira ya mitaa yetu.
Kila mwezi ambayo inachangia kwa kiasi kikubwa kuimarisha afya ustawi wao.
This law will enable pensioners to receive pension, but to protect them against mistreatment.
Shilingi 90,000 kwa wastaafu wote waliokuwa wakipata shilingi
90,000 for all pensioners who were receiving 5,000 and 47,000, equivalent to 30% of the salary on staff on minimum wage, are asked that we be considered so that we get at least 50% of the minimum wage.
Principal Judge of the High Court of Tanzania, Dr. Eliezer Feleshi, has called on judiciary stakeholders to cooperate in order to speed up ruling of cases and reduce congestion of remandees in prisons. He made the statement when he toured and inspected judiciary activities of the High Court Kigoma Division as well as judges' residences.
Kwa hiyo mambo ya kipekee kwa Kigoma moja.
For those who were not able to pay the cost of getting there meant that they did not get any service. And there is the problem of people filing cases and failing to bring witnesses, or a lack of cooperation from those who file cases, which end up getting thrown out. Since we started to operate, we've had 133 cases. This is an indication that there are a lot of cases pending. This will be easier for the people around here, for they will no longer have to incur the costs of traveling out of the region to Tabora, and justice will be served quicker.
7 regions in the Southern Highlands which are dependent for food production have been found to have acid in the soil, a situation that is affecting production of food. This has been revealed in a research done by the Uyole Agricultural Research Institute in Bear region.
I would like to say that throughout the Southern Highland Zones regions, there is a serious problem with the acidity of the soil. The pH level of the acidity is affecting various crops in many different areas. We have done research and discovered that the quality of the soil is the foundation of agriculture. Now, earlier, there was a problem which arose as farmers were fond of buying fertilizers for their crops without knowing exactly what type of fertilizer suited the soil on their farms.
A report by the International Auditor of Government Accounts in Mwanza region has revealed loss of more than 3.4 billion shillings in Ukerewe District Council, which had been allocated for implementation of development projects in 2017-2018 financial year. The report has been handed over to the Commander of Prevention for Combating of Corruption Bureau PCCB in Ukerewe District by Mwanza Region Commissioner John Mangala for further action.
Bilioni 3.4 billion has been embezzled, yet we cannot complete classrooms. This is not right. You cannot have so much money to spend just anyhow. PCCB deal with this matter. Let no one be spared and let no one be treated unfairly. There was a missing payment voucher as well as expenditure whereby no supporting documentation was provided. There was a bank transaction that was done without proper authorization.
Residents of Kisutu Ward, Mtwara Mikindani Municipal Mtwara region have said that they have been facing an acute problem of water shortage in the past 2 weeks and that they are now using unsafe water. The water authority in the municipal has said that the situation is due to work being done to move water pipes in order to pave way for construction of the Mtwara Tandahimba to Newala Road.
We go through a lot of trouble in search of water, and when we find any, it is dirty and tastes bitter. The water is dirty and our children fall ill. It is also not good for cooking as it makes the food taste different.
And residents in districts in Kagera region which depends on electricity from neighboring Uganda distributed by Tanzania Electricity Supply Company Limited TANESCO, have remained in darkness since yesterday due to electrical problems near Masaka town. Residents in affected areas have said that electricity from Uganda is unreliable and that the situation has affected production activities.
I would like to say that the problem of power outages has really affected us. But what's worse is that TANESCO have not informed us about the duration of this power supply problem. As a small-scale trader, I would like to say that the regular power outages have affected us a lot. Daily, I use between 25 to 30 liters of petrol to power my generator. This then raises the question, how will our country gain economic development under such conditions? I'd like to say that a fault occurred around 9:30 a.m. yesterday on the Ugandan side of the border. As the Ugandan technicians were busy trying to repair the problem, we were in constant communication with them. But after 3:30 p.m., we got in contact with them and they told us that they had finally repaired the problem.
And that is the end of national news. International news follows up next. Welcome back, and in international news. More than a dozen soldiers have been killed in a major attack by terrorist armed groups in northern Burkina Faso. Here are more details. More than a dozen soldiers have been killed in a major attack by terrorist armed groups in northern Burkina Faso, the army said, adding that it could be the deadliest ever against the armed forces. Security sources say with other soldiers still missing, the death toll could pass 20. The military detachment of the Kartugu department in Somme province was the target of the major attack by armed terrorist groups. The assailants used heavy weapons and burned a large portion of the camp. The identity of the attackers or their affiliation was not disclosed. The impoverished Sahel state of Burkina Faso has been battling a rising wave of armed violence over the last 4 years, which began in the north but has since spread to the east near the border with Togo and Benin. The Indian government has revoked the special status accorded to Indian-administered Kashmir in its constitution, the most far-reaching political move on the disputed region in nearly 70 years. Here are more details. A presidential decree issued on August 5th revoked Article 370 of India's constitution that guaranteed special rights to the Muslim-majority state, including the right to its own constitution and autonomy to make laws on all matters except defense, communications and foreign affairs. In the lead-up to the move, India sent thousands of additional troops to the disputed region, imposed a crippling curfew, shut down telecommunications and internet, and arrested political leaders. The move has worsened the already heightened tensions with neighboring Pakistan, which said it would downgrade its diplomatic relations with India. Both India and Pakistan claim Kashmir in full, but rule it in part. The nuclear-armed neighbors have fought 2 of their 3 wars over the disputed territory. President Paul Kagame of Rwanda has said implementation of a project promoting use of electric motorcycles will start soon. The project aims to address the problem of environment pollution by reducing use of petrol and diesel fuel on motorcycles. He made the remarks during a conference with youth from various parts of the country. In Rwanda, we want our motorcycles to be electrical because the ones using oil are polluting our environment. Once this exercise is complete, then the efforts will be addressed in vehicles as well. These are modern moves which are adhering to issues of hygiene, and they are such great development for Rwanda. I am calling on all motorcyclists and owners of motorcycles that once the exercise is complete, they should cooperate immediately. And that is the end of International News Business News. Follows shortly after the break.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
To be rich, I have to be a business person.
It's not an easy road at all.
People need to understand. You must quickly think, how cost-effective are you going to be?
Business acts as a way in which it can bridge that gap.
Business Edition will keep you informed on latest developments in the financial sector, extractive industry, tourism, agriculture, energy, construction, and so much more. Meet entrepreneurs who create employment opportunities. Watch Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back, and in business news tonight. The Minister of Minerals, Dr. Biteko, has said that Tanzania is among countries in Africa which are adding value to minerals after establishing a gold processing plant in Dodoma, which is expected to start operating in October this year.
Imani yetu ni kwamba itakapofika mwezi Oktoba,
our aim is that in October we must fulfill Minerals Act Section 88, subsection 2 and 27D, which directs us into formulation of National Gold Reserve. We want that after a couple of years, Tanzanians should have a room full of pure gold, which is a national reserve. The decision to make first refinery industries in Dodoma was not a mistake, and we are grateful, because first it will create employment opportunities in Dodoma. The region will also have an opportunity to have new technologies that will be used here. The Ministry of Agriculture has said that there is shortage of fish in some water sources in various parts of Central Zone regions, causing traders to buy fish from outside the country.
Wizara ya Mifugo na Uvuvi.
The Ministry of Livestock and Fisheries, under the Fisheries Department at Momopuli Station, we're looking forward into meeting regional fisheries officers at the Central Zone and nearby regions with the aim of increasing efficiency in the fisheries sector. This move is important due to the fact that fish found in the natural resources are decreasing, which has accelerated importation of about 10,000 tons of fish annually. I am calling on Usoke residents to engage in agriculture and livestock keeping that have benefit, because right now education is offered by the government officers free of charge. And some women entrepreneurs in Arusha region have established small agro-processing industries which have increased their incomes and created employment, with 30 industries started in a period of 6 months. In the past 6 months, there are 35 industries that have been established by women, which are producing milk, nutritional flour, peanut butter, with a capacity of employing more than 5 workers. One among the key challenges they faced is packaging due to scarcity of the products in the country. And that is the end of business news. Sports news follows shortly after the break. We'll be right back.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment of going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's going to be dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment of going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's going to be dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Opposition, Marquinhos, he did lose and then.
Welcome back, and in sports news. Simba Sports Club Information Officer Haji Manara has called on fans to go and cheer their team when they play UD Songa in the second leg of CAF Champions League first round game.
This is Champions League. Players' job is to play. Our job is to support. Fortunately, this time there is no rain. And if it does, we have made it ourselves. You know about it. We must make it rain on Sunday, about 10 or 9, and then we close it. But heavy rain that can hinder us from getting to the stadium, we must show people this.
Twendeni, na lazima tuonyeshe hivyo watu sasa hivi yani.
The official committee say they are well prepared for the new Premier League season, which starts this weekend. The committee says 6 referees will be used in the matches, as had been done in the Community Shield game between Simba and Azam.
Wakati tunafanya ile physical fitness pale kwenye uwanja wa Taifa mlikuwepo, mliona.
I believe you saw us having physical fitness training at the National Stadium. The officials did physical fitness, and then we put them in class for 4 days. The aim of putting them in class for 4 days was to translate the soccer regulations. As you know, there are lots of amendments this season. They were also going through the clips of games they officiated to show them mistakes that they made.
Yale makosa ambayo yalijitokeza katika msimu uliopita wasiyarejee tena.
Manchester United have expressed disgust at the racial abuse suffered by Paul Pogba following the 1-1 draw at the Wolverhampton Wanderers last night.
The midfielder saw a second-half penalty saved, having won it with a run into the area. This was his fourth miss in 11 spot kicks, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer backed Pogba, with Marcus Rashford being United's other taker. Pogba had racist tweets directed at him, becoming the third footballer in 7 days to be abused in this manner for missing a penalty. A club statement said everyone at Manchester United is disgusted by the racial abuse aimed at Paul Pogba last night, and we heartily condemn it. The individuals who express these views do not represent the values of our great club, and it is encouraging to see the vast majority of our fans condemn this on social media also.
Chelsea's David Zappacosta is to join Roma on a season's loan, subject to a medical this week. Here's the report.
The defender has not played since Frank Lampard took over as manager and made only 4 Premier League appearances last season. Zappacosta joined Chelsea for an initial £23 million from Torino in 2017 and will have 1 year remaining on his contract at the end of this campaign. The 27-year-old is in line to become the third experienced defender to leave the club since May, following David Luiz and Gary Cahill. Zappacosta has not held down a regular starting place at Chelsea, and most of the right-back's appearances last season under Maurizio Sarri came in the Europa League.
And Howard University is bringing back its long-dormant college golf program with an assist from Stephen Curry. Here's the story.
The Golden State Warriors star announced a 7-figure donation on Monday to establish the first Division I men's and women's golf teams in the 152-year history of the historically black university in Washington, D.C. Howard Athletic Director Kerry Davis said Curry's donation was sort of a jolt for them. The school has not offered the sport since a Division II golf team folded in the 1970s.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin for tonight. My name is Khadija Zimbwe. Thank you for watching and good night.
Capital TV, Radio 1, East Africa Radio na Capital Radio sasa zinapatikana kupitia satellite Interset 22 uelekeo 72.1 degree east, C-band frequency 3671 MHz, symbol rate 8571 kilo